And welcome back to the Primetime Power Show right here live on Primetime Power Radio, featured on the Tunein, Radioline, Radiodeck, and Cloud Radio apps. Just search for Primetime Power Radio. Add us as a favor. We would definitely appreciate that. We're also streaming on PrimetimePowerShow.com as well as PrimetimePowerRadio.com. So for Uplift today, by the way, I'm Derek May. Tonight we switched it up a little bit. We got a special guest interview on the Primetime Power line. We have Priscilla Woodson. She is an international performing artist, and she has a repertoire that includes being a singer-songwriter, entrepreneur, mental health and wellness advocate, life coach, pastor, and author. Priscilla, thank you for joining us on the Primetime Power Show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Derek. I'm so honored.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So I thought, I see there's so much to unpack tonight, so we're going to try to chip at it little by little, but a lot of great things that I learned about you as I was able to explore on your website and also the additional information that you sent us here on the Primetime Power Show. But I always like to go back to the beginning, to the origins, where you started and how did you become who you are. So let's talk about some things in regards. First and foremost, I know you're a native from Miami, Florida, coming from a two-parent household. Talk about that experience growing up and how it factored into your evolution of where you are and what you're still to be.
Oh, you're going right in. So for me, yes, I am a native of Miami, Florida, born and raised. And yes, I was a part of a two-parent household, but filled with a lot of trauma. So as a result, I suffered a lot, and I suffered silently. And much of all of that pretty much shifted and shaped much of who I am as far as pain. When I left Miami, I left Miami abruptly because I had to escape, because for me to stay was for me to die, because I was suicidal. I come from a pathology of mental illness, depression, murder, and suicide. That was my truth. So in order to leave, I had to be desperate. And for me, desperation was after going to the community college, abruptly left Miami-Dade Community College, and I went into the military. Military for me provided a roof over my head. It provided safety, and it provided me food. I had no idea what I was doing. I was clueless. I was 19, but it was a way of escape. And the United States Army just really helped just cultivate some things for me as far as giving me a grounding and a foundation and afforded me a position to start recovery, whatever that was.
Right.
But I did have some good experiences, of course, while I was in Miami, because that's where, again, music discovered me. That's where having the gift of sensitivity discovered me. Where I had the opportunity to be cultivated under so many different artistic programs, so many different mentors, no idea that they were shaping me again into what I am, now as a woman of purpose, power, and with a plan. So, I have, still have family back there. Mm-hmm. So, there was a lot. I took away from Miami, but once I went into the military, that pretty much was the end for me as it relates to Miami. So now my tour of life literally started with the military, meaning now I'm traveling the world. I'm being introduced to different ethnicities, nationalities, and different languages, and just different cultures. And, my eyes are just really waking up, and then really seeing, oh, wow, there are people just like me suffering silently. Oh, what am I going to do now? So that's when I went on this journey of self-help. I had no idea what help was, because during my era and growing up, there's no such thing as counseling and connecting with resources and things of that nature. So I just went on this journey of just researching for myself. And then along with that, I started this journey of spirituality, whereas now I'm mirroring what my mother showed me, as it relates to trying to identify with a faith in my belief system. But all I knew as a child, because of the trauma, is all mama did was go from church to church trying to find Jesus. And I didn't know who he was, but I knew she was committed to finding him. And as a result of me, again, seeing that, because oftentimes as children, that's what we do. We mirror what our parents have done before us. So that's when I factored in self-help with my spirituality and begin to somewhat find my way, my grassroots, my setting, my steps, direction, and all of those things, again, that further cultivated me to be the person that I am today.
Wow, that's quite a journey. So in regards to your music, you did start fairly young. You got exposed to, I believe you said you were 10 years old when you really began to get
10
interest
years
to it
old,
formally?
music discovered me.
Okay.
I had no idea I even had a gift in music. This was a time, again, in the era where this church, children wasn't allowed to be in a pulpit, let alone be a part of a choir.
Right.
And the music director just so happens to ask my mom, could I sing a solo? And we're like, what is that about? So my very first song was Amy Grant, My Father's Eyes. From that point on, I immediately started a youth choir, started directing the choir, started directing a national choir as a result of going to camps. And that's when, again, people heard of me by way of one of my neighbors. And that's when, again, the calls stopped coming in and said, I think you might have a prodigy on your hands. So, again, that's when, again, being a part of the different music programs, they cultivated me in leadership positions on set. So I never had a choice in a lot of areas, because, I was denied the privilege of going to college. I actually had a full scholarship to go to Bethune-Cookman College. But again, because of trauma, it said, little girls don't go to college.
Yeah, and that
so
was
you
because
have to
of
stay home.
That was your music gift that gave you that opportunity, that scholarship
It
opportunity.
gave you that,
Yes.
Absolutely. But
you
so
wasn't
I
able
always
to take advantage of it because of
I
circumstances.
wasn't able to take absolutely, but it didn't stop me. But what I didn't realize that all of that training that I received, Derek, it still positioned me where I'm supposed to be. Even though I never, I didn't get that that degree in music composition and vocal performance, it still equipped me. So just because we, things didn't turn out the way we envisioned, don't mean that God still didn't have a plan.
Amen
So
to that.
I'm so glad I still stayed on that journey of seeking help.
That's right. Every method and every way and every journey isn't traditional. It's unconventional.
Yeah.
And it still led to the pathway where you were supposed to go to in your life. So talk about from Miami, and you mentioned that the Army did a lot of good things for you. And I know you concentrated specifically one of the areas, human resource. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And just share with us what made you lean into that particular area of that expertise, and what benefits did you get from it? Because it sounds to me like that really helped you and molded you and gave you some good solid direction.
It's so funny. You should ask that. So I did not decide human resources. What happens is we take tests, scholastic tests when we're into the military, and whatever areas where you score high, that's where they place you. And it's so funny because, again, with this gift of sensitivity that I had, that even though I was broken and wounded, I was sensitive to your needs. So therefore, I couldn't let it go, and it disturbed me. But who would have thought that, again, that I would be a resource to humans? So the military even cultivated that. So again, it gave me some fundamental trainings as it relates to, again, being working, interacting with humans, and also being a resource and a source. Taught me how to communicate to them from a group setting, one-on-one setting. Again, it gave me a lot of fundamentals as it relates to the practices of human resources. And then just so happens, once I exited the military by ETS and honorable discharge, when I went to corporate America, guess where I get employed to? The Department of Human Resources. So it just continued on. So again, God had a plan. I had no clue. Again, I was clueless. I was a broken little girl I was just trying to live.
Absolutely. But along the way, you discovered a lot about who you are, particularly talents and gifts. And I'm going to talk to you about that a little later in the interview. But one of the things that I noticed, I was on your website, PriscillaWoodson.com. If y'all out there, check it out. It's a great website. A lot of great information and detail in regards to who you are and all the things that you offer. But when I was on your website, one of the things that I noticed first and foremost was your name. So I saw your name, Priscilla Woodson, but you know what I noticed? 2 words underneath your name, and that was music and wellness. So tell us about both of those words. Define exactly what those 2 words meant to you in regards to who you are and what you're all about.
So music and wellness, first of all, is passion and purpose. The area of which I am passionate is is in my area of my gifting, which is my power, which is our gifts, our talents, our ideas, our vision, because all those things support that we have value and worth and wealth. And also the gift itself, the passion, is designed to make room for us if we begin to utilize it. And because, again, that's an area I've been cultivated in, I've been able to not only soar in, but have been able to minister me. Why not use a tool, again, that sets me up with ease to begin to work? And then wellness, again, this is another aspect a lot of people, I would say, didn't really know of me, but they did know of me. So wellness simply says, again, one thing I know about Derek is being broken. I knew what being unwell was all about.
Right.
Again, because that gift of sensitivity kept niching at me. It kept being a disruption and disturbing me. That's when I found out, again, because of the many doors and opportunities I can continue to operate in. People are always seem to need to be empowered, be encouraged, be inspired. They need a word. So now I'm constantly teaching, I'm constantly encouraging. So again, wellness, I started that out even in the arts and entertainment industry, whereas I became providing pastoral care to the artists, because I got tired of seeing, again, artists broken, artists serving broken, and then we're celebrating their brokenness. It disturbed me that we're still perpetuating, suicide and addictions. So wellness for me is not only providing pastoral care, I'm providing holistic counseling, talking about whole person treatment. I'm providing life coaching and life skills professional development. So God has gifted me with the ability to actually write wellness programs. So if you're ready to do your best to work, you don't know where to start, who do I go, or what do I do? This is one of the many things that God has equipped me with to write programs. Like into one of the projects I just released, As I Am. It is a mental health and wellness program centered on self-discovery. So everything I do on the wellness side, again, it is centered around your mental health and wellness. And if you want to really do your best to work, whatever areas you're wanting to be well in, and then not only just be well, but again, identifying some maintenance strategies. How can I maintain it and sustain it with vitality? So everything about music and wellness, that's where, again, I am passion and purpose, meaning I enrich lives of music and I transform the wellness. Why not work two things that actually authentically work together and identify the authenticity of me? Which are my truths that comes in the form of powers, your truth and art of knowing yourself. All of those things are designed for you to just show up and be and not announce.
And wellness is not just one dimensional in regards to wealth and money, but it has many different facets. And I'm sure you've talked about that and counseled and worked with a lot of people to let them know that it's a lot more to life than just that area, right?
Right. Absolutely. Wellness is self-care, self-help, self-discovery. Self-care, meaning you're taking action to preserve your own health. Self-help, meaning you're just using tools and strategies that's going to support you in connecting without, so much connecting with others, meaning you're doing it by yourself. And self-discovery, again, this is about you identifying your truths and doing your best to work to your truths, whether they be good, bad, or indifferent, because all of our truths are designed to work together for our good.
And it's a very important work.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, a very important work.
Yep,
yes,
absolutely. I'm always fascinated as to how a person decides to pursue their dreams through entrepreneurship. And I see that, as you just mentioned, a lot of things that you created and, programs, and I know you have businesses, et cetera. When did you identify your calling to start these businesses, start these programs that would impact others and also be a blessing to your personal life as well?
That is an excellent question. So, many people don't realize, again, whether it be entrepreneurship, whether they don't want to call it that yet, side hustles and things of that nature, they're already working from a place of passion, and they're able to do it with ease. Though we might not have all the resources in place, the connections, whatever. But what I found out is I have capacity, Derek, and I only found that out because, again, my best to work in my self-care, self-help and self-discovery and things of that nature. So things started to make sense for me. Again, I allowed music to lead the way because that was a part of the gift, because that's designed to set you up with ease and make room for you. And then what happens is when you begin to utilize that gift, which is the origin of that is to give, you position yourself to at least get an environment that might be conducive to connect you with the purpose. Because whatever environment you're serving in, whether you're volunteering or whether you're working, whatever, it's going to tell you what it needs. And then when you know who you are as it relates to your authentic self, talking about your powers the truth and the art of knowing yourself, you know what you can also, in addition, outside of music, I can offer something else. You know what? I don't always have to sing. I can talk.
That's right.
Oh, wow. I can actually talk,
right.
And I can contribute to a conversation, and I can speak to, you know, where you are, where we are as human beings, as humanity, and things just started to align. So I just stayed not only in alignment, but I stayed in contact with my creator, my God, my Lord and Savior. Everything that I do, Derek, is strategic. I get permission. I get instructions. I get the word. I get my foundational scripts and scriptures with everything I do. So anybody knows when I move, it's strategic.
That's right. Utilizing wisdom effectively from the one that has it all. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it made sense now to connect passion and purpose. I had the opportunity to undergo a artistic program, a artistic incubation program here in the city of Columbus, Ohio, with the Lincoln Theater under the direction of Susan Bradford. And again, it was teaching artists that was stationed locally. Again, the business aspect of the industry of arts and entertainment, amongst many other things. And one of many things we had to do when we first signed up for the 12-month program is we had to provide 3 goals. And one of the goals is I wanted to find a life coach that specialized in the arts and entertainment, meaning they understood the culture, they understood the lingo, they understood all the dynamics. And by the end of that, I was, sharing with my mentor, Susan Bradford. I said, I can't find nobody. She said, that's because you haven't stepped up to the plate. What's next? I said, she said, you already know you've been doing it. Go ahead and get your certification, do what you need to do, get in position.
That's right.
I said, oh, okay. Again, that was all a part of placing yourself in an environment that's conducive to where you want to go. Again, so you ask how I get started. That's one of many ways how I got started. So again, I've always been that person. Again, whether it's in theater, whether it's in music, whether it's in dance, if the director wanted an empowerment speech, wanted somebody to do prayer. Oh, here we go, Priscilla. We need you, Priscilla. And so again, it was just always just presented, to me. So it was almost like I didn't have to choose. It chose me.
Oh, that's tremendous. So one of the things that I mentioned to you that I wanted to talk about a little bit is we understand and we know that God blesses us with gifts and talents, and some have a few, some have more. Now, one of the things I noticed about you really quickly, learning about you, that you have plenty of them that were given to you. So I can only imagine the challenge at times trying to really fulfill the potential in all those areas. The question I have is, how did you begin to discover them? Did they come little by little? Did they come in bunches in regards to identification of those gifts and talents? And how did you find ways to utilize them? And also, just talk about how God sets the provision to be able to walk in those as well.
Wow, that's a fully loaded question. So one of my wellness programs, Derek, is entitled Aspire for Greatness, which is another holistic program that's centered on imagination and creativity. So in this program, one of many things that comes out of this program, I have what you call a heart module. And the heart module, again, captures your powers. So what happens is the client, the students, or whomever, they engage this process of identifying, again, what your assets looks like. Talking about your gifts. Your gifts are natural ability, empowered and endowed by God, meaning not by mankind, and nobody have to teach it. You begin to list those things. And then talent. Talent is different from gift. Talent is also a natural skill or ability, but the difference is you can learn that and be taught. So now I begin to coach, again, the clients and identifies what things have you also been learned or taught. What things have you gotten certifications in? Even now, let's factor in jobs. Jobs are talents, are they not? Because the origin of talent is money. So that means, well, have you making money? That's a skill.
Yes.
So again, I put this in this heart module. So what I do is I put the gift in the center of what you call this heart module, which is this spinning wheel. So though your gift is powerful, it does not have to stand alone. So it's designed to set you up, but depending upon the environment you're serving in, now that you have identified all of these powers, talking about your strengths, your assets, your gifts, your talents, your visions, your ideas, your dreams, aspirations, you've listed all your different jobs. You listed things that all the different certifications you got. When you're in a specific environment, Derek, what talent or what power is going to be beneficial to that environment that's going to allow you, again, not to announce, but simply serve.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. So as a result, now you place yourself in a position of what I call an epic experience, Derek. Epic means this is where experiment prelims and islands meets communities. What's prelim? Again, all these ideas that you had. This is the opportunity to work it when you were in the midst of community. Okay. And now you're no longer isolated alone, but you're now connected with community. So now you have to give yourself permission to connect with the community so you can have an epic experience. So that's how you can begin to identify with what you have. People say they don't have. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you do this vector work and showing you that you do have these talents and these powers, because if not, you're saying God is a lie. And he's not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. It's not a lie. It's what happens is because it's called life happens, Derek. As a result, much of our strengths and powers and assets, they become dormant or buried because life is happening.
Yes.
So now let's support you with the wellness so that we can begin to address that, to free you up so that your heart can really breathe with ease like it's supposed to do, because everything about your heart is designed to make room for your talents to do their unique and organic roles. Your heart is likened to the gift and your talents is likened to your organs. Organs, when I'm talking about organs, I'm talking about your lungs, your kidneys, again, your brain, all these different aspects and components of your body. So when your heart begin to just beat, meaning you at least just utilize and releasing the gift, you give room now for all the other aspects of you to come to life.
Absolutely. And it allows you to be able to flow in your purpose without so many obstacles, without so many interruptions, without the delays and the things that can hinder you and hold you back. And you could be free and be liberated.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So at this point, I don't get to pick and choose because, again, of the years of investment, I definitely have solidified for me, even though I have, all these different components going on. Music and wellness are my priorities. Those are my, again, it's passion and it's purpose at work, meaning they are partners together. Why work alone? Yeah, they're partners together.
Yes, indeed. Very well defined. So, Priscilla, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break on the Primetime Power Show. While we're on break, we're also going to play one of your selections, Blessed Assurance. And then on the other side, we're going to talk about you as the speaker, because we know how powerful and impactful that particular gift can be as well. We're going to continue on the other side, talking about being a speaker, having opportunities, being able to share, and what it can do for your audience. So we'll pick that up on the other side. Once again, we're on the Primetime Power Show right here live on Primetime Power Radio, Primetime Power Line, special guest interview with Priscilla Woodson. We'll be right back on the other side on the Primetime Power Show. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Primetime Power Show right here live on Primetime Power Radio. And we're here with our special guest interview on the Primetime Power Line, Priscilla Woodson. And once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Before we went on break, I was talking to you in regards to being in the role of a speaker. And we know when you are in that position, you have an opportunity to share some valuable information, and you're able to encourage as well in regards to the audience that you're talking to. So how would you define what your particular style is that you deliver, and what is the typical end goal that you want to have? What do you want to accomplish in those moments when you have an opportunity to speak to others?
Ooh, you got some good questions.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes. So my approach is always walking in the authenticity of me. Yep. So, again, with the gifting of music, first of all, I'm going to help relax myself, and I'm going to sing something. Depending upon, again, where I'm at, the event is, whether it's a sacred environment, secular environment. I put the song in the atmosphere to help, again, to bring attention to something that they're familiar with, so that, again, to begin to set an atmosphere. And then the way I typically prepare too is it's depending upon whatever the topical study is or what the theme is. I place myself in the position of that topic. Yes. And then I really begin to own and feel and sense and touch, what is it, if the topic is about, what is it the coordinator is really wanting me to convey. So, and the other approach is I bring truth. So when you get me, you're not only going to get my power, but you're going to get transparency, because that's the only way I know how to come at you. That's the only way I know how to present myself, that allows me, again, to continue to flow in the moment, because people connect with real life truths. They
That's
know when you are not authentic. So everything about me is raw, real, and rhythmic.
Definitely.
So as a result, I also further, set it up, build upon that. And then now I'm bringing out my points of power, if you will, to solidify, again, the whole reason of why I was called to help, really raise awareness to the topic at hand, or to expand upon something, or even to celebrate. So I put my whole self in it. So I don't believe in shortcutting anything, because I know greater is in me, and I know capacity is in me. So since I serve an excellent God, that's the way I show up, whether it be personally, professionally, or creatively, and make all of that come together.
Absolutely.
So
that's
my formula.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's
You
my
want to
formula.
be, and as you mentioned, you want to be relatable. So you being transparent definitely ushers the way into that. So one of the things that I also found out about you is that you're a licensed pastor, and I know you probably had plenty of opportunities to offer some spiritual counseling. So describe what you would provide and how it differs from traditional counseling, because we know they both have a purpose of, help and trying to get individual or family or whatever the scenario is to a better place and state. But talk about the difference between being able to offer spiritual counseling versus the traditional aspect of it.
So from the pastoral care, so of course now we're the sacred environment. So now we're literally are going to bring in principles and concepts to the person's belief system. Again, so my role is to support them and holding them accountable to that which they say, where they receive their insight, their direction, where they see their foundation, who holds them accountable. So I help them in remembering, okay, so are you using these principles to the God that you say that you believe? So for example, if they give me a scenario, then I will bring out that principle that supports their scenario to support them where they are, to see, okay, are you really honoring this, or are you devaluing yourself because you're not even honoring who you say you are, as it relates to a person of integrity and a person that believes. So when you're talking about just regular counseling, I don't just automatically bring up any type of, as it relates to any type of religion or things of that nature. I allow the Spirit of God to lead it in that regards, but depending upon, again, how the conversation is going, depending upon key words, of course, I'm leading to a spiritual foundation, because everything about, again, our belief systems, it is designed to provide us principles and concepts that regulate everything that we say that we are. And we have to believe, whether you believe or not, somebody created you. So therefore you are accountable to someone. So I want to support people and being clear about who you accountable to.
Absolutely.
Because you can't be out here on your own, which you can, but you should not be anticipating specific outcomes when in fact you're not following teachings or principles and concepts that have not been tested, tried and true. So I separate the two. So if they're coming for pastoral care, now I am going to bring more faith-based content to the table.
Yes.
And make sure they even understand what the truth is. Because as you, I'm sure you experience in life, we all experience, we have different forms of truth. We have our truth and we have the truth.
Yes, indeed.
Some of the truths we made up. There's nothing about it factual. So, but then when you're talking about just your holistic counseling and life coaching and any form of counseling, first of all of my counseling is holistic, meaning I treat the whole person. Since you take the whole person everywhere, we're going to deal with every aspect of you in mind, body, and spirit as it relates to your mind, talking about your imagination, your creativity, how you thinking, how you process it. And then what are you doing to cultivate that? That's going to support you again and having ingenuity and thinking from an optimistic perspective. And the body, are you physically engaged and present with whatever is going on, whether it be internally or externally? Because it's time that we show up and be present and stop just being present and absent at the same time. And spirit, ever assessing self, self-reflection. What's going on? And we begin to deal with that. All those three components, it supports you being, again, back to being well, back to you being, position yourself to have balance, if you will. So all those things, three things are grounding, and all holistic practices are part of any type of counseling that I do. So, and then depending upon the counseling, I actually incorporate my wellness programs in all of my forms of counseling, because again, the reason why you're there is to do your best work. So again, I support the client and doing the actual work that's going to support, whether it be the healing process, maturing process, the growing process, the evolving process, the expanding process, or wherever they may be personally, professionally, and creatively.
Yeah, one of the things I saw on your website talking about your wellness programs, there was a statement that said introspective personal discovery at its finest. So that's one of the things that gets accomplished from that. You actually answered my my holistic coaching question, so you must have knew that I was just about to ask you that. So, which is great because now I can go to my next question. One of the things that we see nowadays is that people are very different. So as a pastor, I wanted to get your viewpoint. I wanted to get your perspective. How do you think people are responding to the word of God nowadays? And do you think the sheep are really still receptive to the shepherd? What's your thought on that?
Well, let's deal with the first question about how we're different. It's so funny you should bring that specific word up, because in my latest project that I released entitled As I Am, which is an album, workbook, and course, one of the topical studies in the workbook talking about mental health centered on self-discovery is fearfully and wonderfully made. Mm-hmm. What that says is, who are you and what makes you different? We have this word different, first of all, is not even being properly viewed. For an example, if someone is born without a limb, we call them society, they're deformed, when in fact, how do you miss something you never had? Different is not a bad thing. Everything organically about the word different means to attract, meaning God equipped us all to attract and peel different things, different people, different ethnicities, so that everything about what he has assigned for us, all people will have the opportunity to be ministered to. So different is not bad. Everything about us, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. You have a unique fingerprint, thumbprint, DNA. Everything about you is good. Now there are some things that are bad, but we need to really stop putting negativity in that word different. As far as the people responding, I do feel like people are still out there responding. I think we're just doing it in a different way. I know a lot of people has been hurt by the church community, but even though they might be hurt, they might not be necessarily going to the temple. You best believe, again, thanks to self-care, self-help, and self-discovery, they're getting some of the substance as far as the teaching and things of that nature, just from different people, different components. And there are people still out there that are thirsty and hungry for that which is right. And they are placing themselves in different environments that's conducive to them being ministered to and being fed and teaching, and still going out doing ministry. Those people do still exist. Matter of fact, with in the arts and entertainment community, that's part of the people, again, that I provide pastoral care to. People that that are not necessarily church. Being a bereavement psalmist, I'm providing care again to people that are not necessarily church. But guess what? They seem to know where to go to get what they need from a spiritual perspective. People are out there really, I would say, like your ram to the bush, and people don't even know these people are out here, because they've been in the field, they've been grassroots. So the church don't even not only give them opportunity, speaking from personal experience, but they just dismiss them, when in fact the world recognizes those people that's been grassroots. Again, that's been real, that's been in their faces, come down to where they are, just like how Jesus did. So I still do believe that the church is still the vehicle. And I believe now, unbeknownst to this pandemic, we have now the opportunity to do something different. Look at God. The question is what are we doing now? Now we can meet the people differently by responding differently and going out amongst them and coming out from these walls. So I think that the church is the vessel itself, the edifice, is still a tool. It's still a beacon. I know for me, sometimes you just need to be inside the church so that you can feel everything, the depth and everything about the Spirit of God and His essence and all those different things. And then every now and then too, you need to be outside. I say we need both.
Yeah, the outreach, absolutely.
Yes, we need both.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the pandemic effect in regards to what the church is doing. Obviously, there's a different mentality. We're in the new norm, as they say. One of the many things they say about the times now. But one of the things I think you captured is that we have to be agile, we have to adapt, and we have to find creative ways, and with the beauty of technology, etc., bringing it where people are and being able to cater it in a way where you can still resemble and show God in his fullness and in his truth.
Yes.
So what I wanted to do, I had a few more things, but we got to kind of wrap up. But I definitely wanted to talk to you about the As I Am. And you talked about that. You talked about the album and the workbook. And the album, I believe you released it in November 2021, 9 tracks that's available. And definitely go to the website and support, please, everyone. And just a lot of great things. Talk about the As I Am, summarize that in regards to what the purpose of that was, because As I Am, that's a powerful statement. That's meaning
watch out there now.
I'm coming as me. I'm not coming as a perception or anything fake or false, and I'm coming with my flaws and all that other stuff. What was the drive in regards to creating that theme and all the materials around that?
So again, just going back to wellness, I knew what it meant to be broken, and I've been serving the faith-based community well over 35 years in a role of in leadership roles, in addition to again working grassroots in the field, thanks to the arts and entertainment ministry. And I continue to see what I was seeing, which was brokenness. And because God given me this ability to write wellness programs, he says it's time to take this to the masses. So As I Am, first of all, the I Am is God, and As I Am is oneself. And it is as I am and As I Am are partners together, working together. So again, it's an album, it's a course, and a workbook. So even though each project can stand alone, why should it? Why not, again, use this heart module, because all of these together are comprehensive, is a comprehensive experience that demonstrate how passion, purpose, creativity promote wellness. So As I Am, for an example, is my demonstration of passion and purpose, which is music and wellness. It's also, the approach is identifying the authenticity of self. So now the workbook, the course, now give other ones, because remember, As I Am is just not me, it's oneself. Give others that opportunity, again, to get connected not only with their mental health, let's get connected with discovering, so that you can begin to reinvent yourself, because you spent some time with yourself and not just scared because of all this isolation and you don't know what to do and things of that nature. This was a good time for us to do some homework. Yes. So now we had the isolation. As I Am says, it's now time to get to work. You don't know what work looks like. This is why we got the workbook. The workbook is set up strategically for you to do that, because now you're going to contextually add your content to your workbook, meaning this is not my work. This is your work. So the workbook is comprised of 9 topical studies that's going to support you identifying what your vested work is, likening to my thesaurus, fearfully and wonderfully made, beliefs to your human experience, lighthearted amusement, living your values, chase passion, not paper, bounce back, becoming attraction, don't worry, be happy, seriously. Yeah, so now you begin to identify your truths in these areas so that you are clear on what your vested work is. Absolutely. So this is just a starting point of a wellness program. So when you are ready, you complete this. Now we can go to the next program, depending upon where you at. What are we doing? Personally, professionally, creatively. Where we at? So, but we got to start somewhere. So this As I Am workbook supports anyone that's ready to now deal with this isolation. What showed up? I'm ready to put you to work.
Fantastic. That is just a wonderful project. And I know you have so much that you offer. Fortunately, we got to wrap up. I did have some more questions, but we do got to wrap up. But before we close, Priscilla, just give people your information. Definitely give them the website, because there's so much stuff we didn't even touch on. The books, Inspire to Greatness, Inspire for Greatness, the music, being able to learn so much. So give your website, give your social media information, any phone numbers, just any general details that you want to relay to our audience at this time.
So anyone can connect with me at my website, which is PriscillaWoodson.com, Facebook, Priscilla Woodson, Instagram, Lady Sultress. So they can contact me by way of my website. So my website has a contact session that allows them to capture their email so that I can respond. They're looking for booking or what have you. Again, the website is designed to capture all of that. So PriscillaWoodson.com captures everything they need to get in contact with me.
Also, I'm going to add, Priscilla, that you have a shop on your website, and all these great items that we talked about in regards to the music, audio, books, the coaching, etc. All of that information is on and available at PriscillaWoodson.com. Unfortunately, we're going to have to close out, Priscilla, but I enjoyed the conversation immensely. I want to thank you once again for being a part of the Primetime Power Show tonight, and I hope those out there enjoyed the interview as well. And we're going to have to do this again, and we'll definitely be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Derek, for this opportunity.
You're quite welcome.
You be blessed.
Likewise. Thank you.